What's up, folks? Sean, the average angler, and we're in changing seasons times, folks. So what does that mean to the fishermen? Fish are going to start moving. Things are going to change. We've got the end of summer coming into fall, which honestly a lot of times can make fishing tough for a bit. Until we get that temperature drop in the water, it can put the fish in a little bit of lull. It's not that they're not eating. It tends to be that there's an abundance of food that's very easy for them to get. So, because every lake is so different, it's very difficult to talk about. But we're going to kind of generalize here and kind of talk about moving into fall and the fall bite, what's to come. Because I want to give you a chance to get prepared for that so that you don't have to go out and just, whoa, here it is, right? All right, so one of the number one techniques for me this time of year is a rattle bait, meaning your rattle traps, LV 500s, that kind of thing. And when you store these in a box, they tend to grab each other. So this is an LV 500. This is a TN70 by Jackall. These are two of my primaries. LV 200, and this one has the blade on it. Now the theme here is shad, right? As the seasons change, the shad pull back up, they'll start moving the creek mouths, and with them go the bass. What we're looking for is the schooling bass. And when you find them, you can sit on a spot and it's cast after cast after cast, and it is a lot of fun. Now, there's a lot of different rattle traps, and depending on what you have, your budget and all that kind of stuff. This is a Spro. This is also a very big Spro. Compared to the LV 500, if I can get it unstuck here, guess I shouldn't have put it back in there. There we go. You'll see it's substantially bigger. Now, I fished this on bigger fish bodies of water, and typically this is going to be, and really all of them this time of year, when you find a school, is going to be a lot of yo-yoing. Let it go to the bottom, pull it up off the bottom, let it settle back down. The Spro falls kind of nose down, as does the TN70. What you want to do to find them is kind of cast and retrieve. Maybe jerk it once in a while, pull it forward, let it fall a little bit, until you get bit. Once you start getting bit and you found a school, then it's more of the bottom bouncing. Now, these Spros are really nice if you're fishing a lot deeper, and I want to encourage you to try that because you can find some really, really big fish down deep. And it's really hard to say exactly where they'll be. Creek mouths are the obvious spot of where the migration is going to happen, but it's not the only place. And you can find them on flats, another popular area. Some other colors, when you find them, is the craw colors. Now, I found the craw colors don't get bit near as much as the shad patterns, but what I have discovered is these will get bit by bigger fish. I don't know if it's something different, if they think it's a craw and they know there's more protein and nourishment in it for them, but I have found that throwing a craw colored crankbait into the school oftentimes will catch the bigger fish. Now, one other point about that. Don't give up on your cast because you've gotten through the area where you've been getting the bites. Oftentimes, that bigger fish hangs out outside of that area And so many people just reel up real fast and make another cast because they think they're beyond getting a bite. Well, that hasn't been my experience. I've gotten my biggest bites from outside of them. Now, fall time can be a blast. It can be very frustrating for people as well. And I don't want to say that this is it, because it's not. A few years ago in a TOC that I fished on Clear Lake, the bite was schooling trapfish. And in one day, overnight, we had a major temperature drop and the fish disappeared. And a lot of people struggled to figure out what was going on, myself included. And at the end of the day of practice, I was working down a bank and I noticed some arches down really deep, 30 feet. Okay, for Clear Lake, 30 feet's deep. And I thought, they're probably catfish, but let me throw a jig down there. And I threw a jig down and I just drug it behind the boat, and lo and behold, I caught a 6-pounder. Of course I thought, well, maybe this is a fluke. Let me try again. Threw it down there again. I got a 5-pounder. Okay. At that point, I'm like, this is a pattern. So I ran around to a couple other places to check real quick, and I found the same thing. As that tournament went on, the temperatures dropped, that jig bite got better. The shallow bite guys struggled. So pay attention to your weather. Pay attention if you have something that can tell you temperatures, water temperatures, such as the Omnia app. That's a great benefit, because if you see those temperatures drop and the fish were up, temperatures drop, and now they're not there, give it a look. I'm not saying you have to go out 30 feet, but maybe pull back a little bit. Look for the arches. They're still going to be grouped up, okay? You got to pay attention to the weather in the fall. It's a big deal and will dictate what the fish do. Now, right now, we're at the end of August, coming into September. It can be a really funky time depending on weather. As the weather starts to change, the fish will kind of know it's time to change. Sometimes they're a little slow to react. It depends on how quick those temperatures drops happen. And where I'm at, we get a lot of this temperature comes down, next week temperature comes back up. It's like the summer wants to hang on and it's doing battle with fall back and forth. That can make the bite really good some days, not so good others. Here is my game day LB box, and I've got four different brands in here. I've got Spro, Daiwa, Jackall. I guess I got 5 brands. Lucky Craft, and I have a few of the 6 cents. Okay, 1 knockers are a good thing to have. Different type shad patterns depending on your body of water and the forage, and watercolor can dictate that as well, and the sun. Sometimes they want a real reflective bait. Sometimes they want something more transparent, right? That first LB I pulled out, transparent, sexy shad type color here. And you see a bunch of other ones there. That's more of a reflective pattern. So you got to go out and experiment, find exactly what they want. Just because you get bit on one, if it's a bite every now and then, maybe you need to try one of the other ones that are similar but different. Shiny, dull, that type of thing. Stay tuned for more on fall fishing. We're going to be covering a lot of it. It's really expansive. We'll get into rods and line for throwing these baits a little bit later as we draw closer. Right now is a great time to use these as a search bait. in most areas. Clear Lake, it's a great bait right now to use as a search bait. What can I say? I got stumped right there. All right. We'll see you on the next one. Sean, the Average Angler. Like, subscribe if you're enjoying the content, if I'm helping you out, if I'm teaching you anything. That's what we're trying to do here.